11:02. Begin.
A couple years ago, I was just becoming a woman, as my mom said. And I could tell that I was going through puberty. My hips were getting a little bit bigger. My breasts were becoming sore. And I knew that this was happening. I knew eventually my family would pick me some sort of spouse that I could marry and be a part of life with. And I was not quite ready for that. I didn't feel like my brain was ready for what my body was telling me it was ready for. And so I'd wear really flowy things. I had a brother, same dad, different mom. He became really creepy towards me. I could tell that he really was interested in me in a way that made me very uncomfortable. He was a few years older than I was, about 8 years older. And I tried to avoid him as much as I could. He just made me really uncomfortable. And then this one day, my dad had invited me to go over to my brother's house because my brother was sick, apparently. And so my dad had told my handmaid that I needed to go over to my brother's house and help him. He needed a meal prepared for him, and he just needed company of his kid sister or whatever. And so I went over there, and I brought the flour, and I brought the oil, and I brought the water. And at my brother's house, he has like this little kitchen area. So I'm preparing this bread for my brother, and his servant was there with me, and she was helping me get it all ready. And my brother asked the servant to go, and I got that check in my spine, like in my gut and my spine. Everything felt off. I felt very uncomfortable when I was alone with my brother. And I kept telling myself, it's fine, we're related, it's no big deal, nothing's gonna happen, it's not gonna be weird. And so I make him this bread and I bake it for him. It's starting to smell really good in the house, and he asks me to come closer to him where he was laying in his bed. And I said, no, I think I'll just stay here in this chair. I feel like this is a great spot for me to be in. I said, no, I want you to come closer. My arms aren't working correctly. I'm not able to feed myself. Can you please just break off a couple pieces of the bread and give it to me? And I'm just too exhausted to eat. So I was like, okay, I can do that. So I scooted my chair closer, and I sat next to him, and I broke off a piece of bread and handed it to him, and he grabbed my arm, and he grabbed it so hard and so tight, and I felt in that moment, get out, you gotta leave, you gotta get out of here right now. And I tried my best to move, and I was pleading to him. I could tell he had this weird look in his eye, like he was gonna take something that I could never keep for myself. And I pleaded with him. I said, Ammon, if you take this from me, I'm done. It's gone, and I can't get that back, and you will ruin me, and you'll ruin yourself, and it's not worth it. And I knew I couldn't convince him, and he took me, and he threw me on the bed, and he raped me. And when he was done, I said, let's make this right. It's not over. Like, we can do something about this. Let's bring the priest in, and we can make this right, and we can be together. And he slaps me across the face so hard, and I fall on the ground, and I can feel the pain, and I'm losing consciousness, but somehow I'm able to grab my clothes and run out. And as I'm running out, the servant who was outside probably heard the whole thing and didn't stop it. Threw the royal robe on me like everything was gonna be okay. And I ran home, and I felt like I was in a daze for a while. My brother Absalom knew something was wrong. I didn't want to share it because, how do you share that shame that I lived with, that I was gonna live with for the rest of my life. But Absalom, he kind of got a hold of it. He understood what was going on after a while, and he invited me to live in his home. He wasn't creepy. He was a good guy. But he was really mad. He was so mad, and that anger just built in him and built in him and built in him. And it was a couple years after I was raped by my brother that Absalom convinced Ammon to get drunk and party with him, and he murdered our brother. probably felt like it was the right thing to do, like to get justice for what he had done. But you can't kill anybody to make it right. It doesn't make me whole. It doesn't fix anything within me. I still feel like I'll never be complete. The end.